Hello and welcome to my BardGemini AI Cloud Service project. My name is Declan O'Mara. In the screencast, I'm going to walk through the full website, demonstrate the structure, highlight the technical implementation, and show how it meets all the requirements of the operating system and cloud computing website project. I'll begin on the home page. At the bottom of the screen, you'll see the cookie consent banner. This is powered by the cookie plugin notice, or the cookie notice plugin that I use and allows acceptors to accept or decline performance cookies. This ensures GDPR compliance and gives user control over their data. Let's just accept on that. You also see a floating widget here on the bottom left hand side. Is provided by Translate plugin, another one that I've used, and allows the entire site to be instantly translated into multiple languages, improves accessibility and demonstrates additional effort to make this website open to non-native English speakers. See, I can translate into Irish and then into the Ukraine. I could add more languages there, but just for demonstration purposes, I think I can put up. It can be translated into 103 different languages out of the box. Navigating to the top of the site, you can see the navigation menu. So all the required pages: introduction, history, unique features, marks, statistics, pros and cons, compliance, inclusion, and references. The layout, typography, and color palette are consistent across the site, and it's inspired by the Google Gemini branding. And I'll walk you through each of the pages. So the introduction page here, I explain what Bard and Gemini are, how the ecosystem and how the architecture, cloud architecture worked, including diagrams using Elementor widgets to illustrate the layered architecture, including the front-end interface, API gateway, TPU clusters, and multimodal transformer cores. There's also a comparison table between Bard and Gemini that's supported by academic citations. Moving on to the history page, this page uses a timeline widget plugin that I use to present the evolution of Bard from 2023 to Gemini 3.0 in 2025. Each milestone includes images, description, citations from sources such as Google, the New York Times, and Google Cloud. I've also embedded two YouTube videos, one for the Gemini 1.0 launch and also just here for the Gemini 3.0 launch, which was in November 2025. Let's move on to unique features. On the unique features page, I outlined the core capabilities of Gemini, including multimodal processing, long context windows, agentic workflows, and integration into Google's ecosystems. Um, One of the highlights of the page is my original multimodal live demonstration where I uploaded a photo taken in Dublin into the Gemini app and asked Gemini to identify it. It correctly identified it, just say as being in Sutton Creek, looking over Holt Head. There's also an infographic comparing AI context windows with Gemini 1.5 and detailing how agentic workflows operate through perception, reasoning, planning, action, and reflection. I also demonstrated a custom gem, which is a DIY deck building assistant showing how Gemini can be personally tailored for specific needs, and you can have an AI expert in a certain field. In this case, just say deck building. Just move on to market statistics. This page presents adoption statistics and cloud market share, highlight key metrics such as the 2 billion monthly searches that happen, the 650 million app users, and Google's cloud rise to 13% of the market share, which is a market increase. It also details a performance comparison table showing how Gemini 3 performs against other leading AI models across reasoning, coding, multimodal standards, and long context benchmarks. Below the table, I'll get a short commentary summarizing the key takeaways that Gemini 3 consistently outperforms competitors in core benchmark, demonstrating its technical strength. And moving on then to pros and cons. The pros and cons page provides a balanced evaluation of Gemini. The pros include multimodal capabilities, agentic workflows, large context windows, and rapid adoption. And the cons, including the ecosystem dependency on the Google ecosystem, privacy concerns, cost barriers, and competitiveness with other AIs such as ChatGPT. All points are supported by citations from Google, CRN Technology Master Magazine, UC Today, and others. I'll just move on to the compliance page then. And this compliance page where I document how the project meets all technical and assessment requirements. The site is hosted on AWS EC2 instance running on a LAMP stack. Apache is configured with mod, rewrite, and .hc access overrides. This is to fix issues with permalinks. The site uses, just say as an extra, instead of using the HTTP out of box, it uses HTTPS, and it also is registered as well, like with Duck DNS domain. So we have Declan BardGemini dot duck.dns, so it resolves the IP address to that name. I listed all the required pages, just say that are covered. The the site itself uses the Astra team, and the branding is consistent across the whole site. That's the reasons why then, because they say it's lightweight, just say that team uses Elementor and it reflects closely to the Google brand, as in the colorings of it. Like the site itself is responsive, and it's probably another reason for actually using Astra and Elementor, in that a lot of the stuff is responsive out of box with very little tweaking to be done, just say to render it on mobile screens or screens of different sizes. Also document the plugins that I've using Elementor. There'll be fastest cache, Yoast SEO, Matimo Analytics, Cookie Notice, GC Translate, Timeline widget, and all in one. I explained that the Element widget used the cache and preload configuration and the GDPR compliant analytics setup. This page also includes the multi-mode demonstration of the original content that I have, just which is the demonstration of it, and also just the gem embedded. Down here, just it has the extra efforts on it, like which is the custom domain HTTPS, the multimodal AI demonstration, the customization using gems, performance optimization, and then the language widget that are on the screens. This is a placeholder for this video once the recording is completed. On the conclusion page, it reflects the broader implications of Gemini, including ethical considerations, societal impact, reliance on AI, environmental concerns, and the need for governance and oversight. It ties together the technical, I suppose, the social aspects of the project. And then lastly, it's just the reference pages where the inline citations are fully referenced across the site. And just before we finish, I'm just going to show you a quick demonstration of the responsive design. So even if we change it here on screen into a different site, we can see that the site itself is responsive. We move just here with the menu on the top, and you can see it goes into a hamburger bar, and it's reflective across the different pages of the site as well. Even the history one, where we can see where we had a widget timeline go from side by side, that when the page just say rendered to a smaller screen,